Why do this?
Well, you look at Corvette over the years and you look at all the different generations of Corvette, and whether it was, the first generation that started in 1953 and ended in 1962 with fuel injection, or the mid-year cars from 63 through 67, which had the first big blocks. And then whatever generation we've done has always been, we had one of the first cars over 1G of lateral acceleration capability, remember that? We are now at the end of the envelope for a front engine Corvette from a horsepower, handling, and desirability standpoint of taking advantage of all that performance. So you start looking at, over 60 years, the company's been looking at going to mid-engine in the Corvette. It's hard to crack the code to make sure that we have, a very aspirational car that's very attainable for people. And so that's a lot of engineering and a lot of care in the design, so that our materials are still not compromised. The design is never compromised, but we deliver the customer something that no one else has ever done. And that's why we went to mid-engine on this. It breaks open the capability for the car for the next foreseeable future in terms of propulsion, traction, vehicle dynamics, ride and handling, refinement, all of that. So that's really why we started with the C8 as a mid-engine.
And General Motors has, among its goals, 0 crashes, 0 emissions. Does that sound like 0 Corvette?
No, not at all. I mean, at the end of the day, the automobile business is still a reflection. Not everything's a rational purchase. It's still important how the car looks, both inside and out. It's still important how the car drives. It's still important as a reflection of who you are and what you buy. It's the second largest purchase behind a house for a lot of people. So those are emotional factors that lead to an attachment to a car. Just because in some part of the life cycle we will have electrified vehicles, Corvettes, whatever we're doing, they'll have electrification in it in its life cycle. Those can bring huge enjoyment and huge fun to a lot of people. And so we look at it that way. We also look at it from a safety equipment standpoint for 0 crashes, things like adaptive cruise control, things like Super Cruise, right, that we have on our Cadillacs, which are actually self-driving cars that take the fatigue away for drivers for long trips. Those are huge safety breakthroughs, and you'll see those on cars like Corvettes and Chevrolets and everything that we make. So no problem with that, and I think the runway on a mid-engine car like this has room for every one of those technologies as we pursue 000 as a company.
Okay, and finally, the price on this car, how important was it to you to maintain a certain price as you're developing this car? Or was it first like, let's get to maximum performance and see what we can do about the cost?
Yeah, well, this is going to be a car that's under $60,000 with under 3 seconds 0 to 60. And we haven't published some of the other specs on it yet, but we were over in Germany at the Nürburgring here, and I think we're all very happy with how the car behaved both on the Autobahn and the track. So this is in relatively base form with the Stingray as the lowest price point. What we don't want to do is ever walk away from our customer base. So I think a lot of people don't understand that there's going to be great utility and storage in this car. You'll see it here as it's unveiled in both the front and the rear. You're going to see great performance from it, obviously, but you're also going to see a price point that is unheard of. We've got regular pony cars at over $70,000 these days. This car is going to come in mid-engine, exotic, supercar, under $60,000. I think it's going to change everything, and we want those customers to enjoy us and be able to attain and have the aspiration of always buying a Corvette. That's what Chevrolet is, and that's what Corvette is.
Okay, last question. Why is this important to GM?
This is important for us internally. This has always been a lot of, including myself, one of the reasons why I wanted to work for General Motors and Chevrolet from day one was to be able to work on a car like this that means so much to so many people. But it's also an unbelievable technology rallying call. It's a demonstration of what our engineers can do and deliver a car like this at this price point for profit for a lot of people is a big bar, and do it in mass production in a plant in Bowling Green, Kentucky. So, those are very emotional and very exciting things for everybody that works on that in the company, and it brings the company together. It brings the morale of accomplishing something that no one else has accomplished before. It brings that into the core of our company, and it spreads through every product we do. So that's the way I feel about it. I know that's the way all the people that work with me on lots of different car programs feel about it. So yeah, it's emotional.